Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jenny Bernard, your host. As always, we welcome you in to the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend that tell the truth and shame the devil is on the air. You know what we do here. We talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you in the community, we will talk about it. Hey, without any hesitation or reservation, because you need to know what's going on in this city. Well, you can't get around it. Uh, you got to know what's going on. It's being aired all over television, being talked about on podcasts. It's being, hey, emailed to you, all of it. But the question becomes, what are we going to do about it? Again, let me say to you, I'm a little late. Had a technician that was going to come by and take care of something here at the house. And just as I got ready to come on in 5, he pulled up. So we'll do about 20 minutes or so uh, just to continue to talk to you about what's going on in this community. Well, we got a lineup coming, individuals coming on, want to talk to you. They want to state their case to you why you should vote for them. And like I said, I give everybody the opportunity to come in and state their case. They want you to know why they want to represent you. And I say to you, when you listen to the qualification of these individuals. Well, you got people out there just there to split and divide the vote. And that's another thing. We don't police the term I use, police our community. Now, if we got 20 people in a race that's going to divide the black vote and other individuals who don't have our best interest in mind, they slide right on in because we are divided in our community. We are divided to the point that everybody else can come in and make bucks off of us and our community. And then they get in their car, go back to wherever they live outside of the city limit of Memphis. Memphis has become a cash cow for businesses locally in the community, and everybody making money from the politicians to the business people off of the black community. And we really don't think at all about what is happening to us. And to all the people who don't like what I'm saying, so be it. Because I'm going to say it. Somebody has to say it. When it comes to the politics of this city, when it comes to the business of this city, most people in the black community, most, but not all, are sitting and going, not only the black community, but there's other community going and have to wait on the paycheck. That's pretty much every community. There's a segment in that community, majority of it, that has to wait on the paycheck. But then there's individuals who come into the community, set up shop, take the money, don't put anything back into the community, and we don't ask for nothing. We just get our check, we cash it, put it in our pocket for just a few minutes, and then we give it away. And we hope and pray, and then we got to wait on the next paycheck. Somehow we need to, and I had that on when I was on the radio, a financial advisor to come in and talk about how to plan. And we were doing that, and it got too good for the teaching. Nancy, long as they was talking who shot John, and those individuals wasn't talking politics, wasn't talking about. I had the doctors come in and teach or talk about health. I had financial advisor. I had lawyers to come in, and we had a segment where we asked the lawyer. Lawyers would come in and talk to the public. Public was being made aware of the things that are going on legally and what you need to do. You know, I saw all of that. That was the need, and I did it. But it got to the point that I was told by two radio stations that I was on that their radio stations is not about the black community. It's not about the protesting and the things that we was doing and making a difference from putting car dealers who's selling these used cars. They were selling the one that came out of New Orleans that was flooded. And nobody wanted to address that, but I addressed it. And it brought attention to the fact that we had cars coming into the state of Tennessee out of New Orleans that was flood clear up to the top. And they drained the car, got the smell out, and then they sold them. So I inquired through city council. At the time, Burley and Boyd was on the council. I called to Nashville and talked to a representative there and said, listen, this is a known fact that these cars are coming from New Orleans, the Katrina, during that flood or whatever, that storm. And they said to me there was not a law that says you can't take a car from another state. Although it was in the storm, you could still bring it to Memphis, Tennessee, and you could sell those flood cars to individuals. I used to see those cars sitting on the side of the expressway because they cleaned them up, made them look good, but they were flooded cars. And there was no law in the book that said they couldn't do that. And I was talking to this representative about that. And he said, I would try to get it put under the lemon law, but they never did because the lobbyists who lobbied on behalf of the used car dealers, they fought that. And that says something to me that here we are in this community that a person who sells used cars want to sell you a car that have been flooded. And I'm going back, you know, how long Katrina been. But that dawned on me when I passed by a used car dealer. I wonder, with all those cars sitting there, were they in a flood? Where did they come from? But Tennessee does not have a law. I'm gonna see if I can get a representative on to research that. And it was just something that's on my mind, and I wanted to discuss that just for a minute to say to you, do a check, find out where the cars come from, and if they were in a flood, because you are being taken advantage of when it comes to used cars. And I had a concern because I had a secretary at the time who had bought a car, and a used car dealer sold him a car, her car, where it had a crack head. And the gentleman knew what I mean when I said a crack head. But somehow they had sealed that crack in that motor. And over time, when the motor began that crack to crack again, the motor would run hot. And we researched and found out that it had a cracked motor. But we talked about it enough on my radio show to the radio station owner because they called and complained, and he said, "Well, your agenda, the black community agenda, is not our agenda. So we need you to stop talking about that." At the time, I was paying for my own airtime, and this happened a couple of times, a couple of radio stations when I tried to talk about an agenda that affect black people, the black community. That was a no-go. So the radio station owners didn't care about the fact that you were talking about things to help the black community and make them aware. All they was concerned about was the advertising. And then I moved on. And then politically, the other radio station who told me that I couldn't talk about a certain politician that was running, and we were saying the thing that needed to be said. And they told me, you can't talk about her. And then had the audacity when I left there to call me and tell me, hey, I told you not to talk about her. And I was talking about this individual on my Facebook page. And let me tell y'all something. I did some choice words, said some choice words to him. Now, your radio station is your radio station. My Facebook page is mine. And don't you ever, and I said this before, think you can walk up to me and tell me what I can do about my house, which is my Facebook page. And it got kind of ugly because if you thought you could control me, that's your radio station. But if you thought you could control me on my Facebook page and you have nothing to do with Facebook, you think that your superiority in your mind is big enough to tell me what I can do in my house. And hell to the no, no. And he understood that from that point on, that is certain things you don't say or certain things that you think you can do to your superiority with me. It ain't gonna work. It's not going to work because I'm gonna put you in your place. I don't care who you are. I was raised by a grandmother who always said three things you don't give up to nobody. I don't care who they are or what they look like. You never surrender your dignity, your pride, and respect for yourself. We got too many politicians, ladies and gentlemen, that give up their dignity, their pride, and the respect for themselves. Now, when they give up all of that, then how can they represent you properly? And you think about it, the money that they are getting and the donation that they are getting for the campaign to run, when they get these great sums of money, 400,000, 500,000, 1.5 million, to do that, they had to give up those three things: their dignity, their pride, and their respect for themselves. We don't have any politician right now in office that can maintain those three things because if they maintain those three things, then they can't get any money. They need to lose that to be able to get the money that they need and desire to hoodwink you, to bamboozle you, to run amok over you, because these things they have to give up to get the money. So look at it like this: when you take time, like I do, and I study the fact that who got the more money, When you're given $1.5 million to run for the office of the city of Memphis, do you know what you could do with 1.5 million? You could run for governor in the state of Tennessee with those funds. People have ran for governor for less than that, but you're getting that much money to run for the mayor of the city of Memphis. That's a sellout. That individual has given up all three of those things that I stated to be able to get that money. And by way, when they give up that, then the people who gave them the money own them. So study to show thyself approved. Study to find out who getting 500,000, who getting 400,000. If you just look at that alone, you know that that individual has sold himself out to the devil. And the devils are the people who want to control other people. If you're a politician and you accept that kind of money, in my opinion, you have sold your soul to the devil. And then you get into office and you say, I'm the representative, and look at the district in which you represent. It's pitiful. But somehow that money that they gave them to run for office behind closed doors, some of our so called community leaders are getting a portion, in my opinion, of that money. Because when you go out knowing that a person done sold you out, but you convince the community that they need to support this individual, it's all about the 30 pieces of silver. It's all about surrendering your dignity, your pride, and respect for yourself. You getting rid of all of that just to say, I'm sitting in this seat. And we have seen, and history has shown us, the people who look like you and I, that's supposed to be representing us, have sold out by way of the 30 pieces of silver or by way of these campaign contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, I continue to say it, I will say it, that we got to wake up, because if we don't, we're going to still be in this situation. Now, the sad part about all of this, in my opinion, that when it's over, when the dust has cleared, when the smoke is gone away, after this election is over, if we don't do the right thing now, and you're going to have the tool when they release this audit, forensic audit, we're going to have the tool to do what you need to do. And see, understand this. I am a proud individual who's been blessed to be black. And I care about the community like any white person care about theirs, and the Jewish person care about an Italian, Asian, Middle Eastern, they care about family. They care about their race, but only in our community where we sell each other out as representatives for the 30 pieces of silver. We would sell out a community for the 30 pieces of silver and the contribution. You all see it. You have said many times that individual that sit on that school board is ignorant. You've said the same thing about the city council. You said, what the hell was she thinking when she said that quote that was so dumb that it was heard all over Memphis when they talked about an analogy as it relates to, y'all remember, about it was equivalent to masturbation. And I thought that was the dumbest thing, an analogy that individual, and this was a female, Pearl Walker. Check your research and see what she said. I still don't understand that analogy that she tried to make and said it was equivalent to masturbation. Now, y'all tell me what in the world could she been talking about? And she got some backflack from saying that, but then it concerned me that you elected an individual whose mindset is set that way. Not only her, you got people who have made dumb decisions and made dumb statements. But for whatever reason they did it, you have heard them, and you say to the county commission, what did they get that woman for? She had name recognition, but if she were blonde, she would be dumb, as they would say. But she didn't happen to be blonde. But you sit there and listen to that, and you go, where did they come from? How did this woman get elected? And you hear on the school board and all that other have said stupid stuff, and you sitting here looking like your community looking like a bomb that hit it, and you wonder why. It's because you put somebody in office that didn't know what they was doing. They're just there to run their mouth. And then sometimes you put them up to be the spokesperson on behalf of our children, and you say, this woman got to be out of her mind. But they put her up like she's a great spokesperson, and she's a clown. And you know what I'm talking about. They supposed to be going in Nashville, I think today or yesterday. What did they do? I'll see if they report anything. Election April 15th, let me say this, is early voting. You're going to have to get up and go vote. Because I say to you, and this is the last time that you're going to have to get it right. If you do not get it right from the school board, the county commission, the clerk's office, you got clerks that are working to do a great job. Was doing a great job. So put Philander Ford back. You got people out here that are running that have spent their life in the clerk's office, knowing the skill and how to do it. But those people are leaving because you're putting people dumb as rocks in to try to run a clerk's office who didn't know anything about it, and the clerk's office is a mess, and everybody knows it. But for some reason, I believe people are just afraid to say it. See, I don't have anything to lose because I'm fine. I say what needs to be said when others are afraid to say it. And you're going to walk through life afraid of the heat. And what you're doing, you're running out of the kitchen. If you can't stand it, the heat, get out of the kitchen. And that's what you're doing. When you don't vote, you sit at home. The heat is too hot for you, or you're afraid to deal with the heat. So therefore, you don't vote. And it says to me that you're running out of the kitchen because you can't stand the heat. You got to step up for yourself. You see, you can't depend on anybody else, anything for you, if you won't do it for yourself. They'll tell you, call me back. I'll get with you. And then they don't answer your call. You had that happen. You had next door neighbors to do the same thing. You've had so called friends to do the same thing. You've had somebody who want to call themselves a political strategist, one who think they got influence. But I'm seeing a lot of whirlwind is coming after folks because they swept the whirlwind, the wind, and they ended up dealing with the whirlwind. It's gonna come. Memphis, I reposted something I posted about a year ago that talk about Memphis and how great a city it used to be, how clean the city was, how beautiful the city was. But now they talk about the home of the blues and the different attraction and the tourism was up. But then they say the percentage of the people who happen to be white were leaving the city. And the city is not what it used to be. Y'all go on my page there and just listen to that. It's sad, but it's true. But we can restore this city, but first we got to cut off the head of the snake. And the snakes that we have in office that's not doing their job, we need to cut the head off the snake, get them out of politics. And I'm willing to back up anything I said because I got receipts. I'm not talking about something that I didn't know. I can tell you why any individual that I said don't need to be in office, I could sit down and tell you why. I can make a strong case because I pay attention. I watch. I listen to the news daily, sometimes 3 times a day since I'm retired now. Be able to listen and say, I can't believe that this is happening. No one is listening, it appeared to be, but me. And to understand that, hey, it's time for us to step up and do the right thing for ourselves. Because if we don't, nobody is going to do it. The people who you put in office don't care. Money talk and BS walk, as they say. And what you doing, you letting the BS walk all over you and these folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm making a plea to you. Organize your family. Organize your community. Organize your neighbor because it's critical that we do something in this election to serve notice on anyone who runs for office, from the mayor to the city council, county commission, that we sending notice that we quick as you went in there, we gonna, excuse me, take you out if you don't do the right thing by us. It's our fault because we have allowed the so-called leadership in this community to do what they're doing to us. Again, I think that Paul Young should have been there at the table. You said to me, you said to Memphis that you had another agenda when the president of the United States came to this city. Or you were too busy. I don't care who he was. And I've said this again to all of the individuals say, I agree with him. I wouldn't have, well, that says to me, in my opinion, something is wrong with you. If you got this house and you are the mayor of this house, you're supposed to represent the people of this community. But see, you're so afraid, Paul Young, that you don't want to upset the apple cart. See, as a leader, time and time again, I have made decisions as a leader, as a pastor, as a business person, where employees didn't agree with me, but I was the business owner. Where church members didn't agree with me, but I was the pastor. And it all worked out. You cannot be a leader and be afraid to worry about who gonna vote for you and who not gonna vote for you. Do your job. And if the people know leadership when they see it, they'll re-elect you. But right now, I don't find one person, not one person, in my opinion, deserved to be elected. It says here, Gerald said both mayors should have been there. Yeah, because this is their house. Lee Harris, at this point, his house is Shelby County. Lee Harris' house is Memphis, Tennessee. And I said this before. You can't come in this house and come in here and I'll let you come in and I'm not here. I won't be at the house, but you can come on in. No, it don't work like that. If you're the head of this house, which is the city of Memphis, you're supposed to represent. But you see how weak that was? Listener, do you see how weak that was? Oh, I had another appointment. This man, whether you like him or not, he represents this country. And as I said before, there are many people in this city didn't like the fact that Barack Obama was the mayor. I mean, the president, excuse me. I'm so tired of these mayors we got in this city. It's just all messed up. It's all about Gerald Green. You're right. It's all about the poor leadership. And you tell the people, Gerald, that it's poor leadership, they'll argue with you all day long because they think this is a organization, a fraternity or sorority. And those individuals who stick together and vote and the city is suffering under the poor leadership, then I begin to wonder about those individuals. What will you do? April 15th. Don't wait until May or August. Step up to the plate and do it early. Get it out the way. I do it early all the time. I go to Miller Baptist time that it opens up, do it within the first week of early voting, and then I'm done with it. I'm encouraging you, ladies and gentlemen, do the right thing for yourself, for the city, and for the strength and welfare of this city. Again, I appreciate you. I love talking to you, and I got guests coming in on tomorrow. Reverend Dr. Frederick Tappan will be here to talk about his campaign and talk to you and ask you to vote for him uh, for school board District 6. Going to have on Thursday Brother Lee, who is running for the treasurer, former leader in previous administration. He would come and talk to you on Thursday. And then on Friday, we will have a candidate that's coming in to talk to you about his candidate as the sheriff, the next sheriff of Shelby County. And then on next week, I've talked to another candidate for sheriff that will be here uh, next week. I'm waiting on him checking on his calendar, and he will let me know for the end of the day. And that is Reginald Hubbard. He will be in next week to talk about his candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, what I do here is to try to keep you informed. That's it, because it's not benefiting me in any way, because that time is over for me. I'm just trying to do what I need to do, what it feels like I have to do to keep you informed on what's going on. It's up to you. I just want to share the blessing to you, to bless you with the knowledge of what's going on in this community. I'm Jenny Bernard. I appreciate you for tuning in and being a part. And Brother Gerald Green, he a candidate for District 7 on the school board. I got to bring him back again because he came in, jumped in on early. I want you to keep that name out there. You keep looking at the people that come in, and the people that come by here, please give them consideration because they think enough of you on this program to come and talk to you. In the words of my grandmother, she used to always say, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on tomorrow. Gonna have a great show. The Reverend Dr. Frederick Tappan will be here, and you can listen to his video on my Facebook page, on timeline, and see what he's gonna say to you and some more. And we're gonna have that conversation. But always remember this: trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. God bless you. Take care. Look forward to talking to you on tomorrow. Peace.